Breathing into Bloom is the brand new EP from Clay, who I'm so happy to have join us. Hello, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. I love how we're doing this over Zoom. You're in LA, I'm in your hometown of San Francisco, and yet we couldn't do this in person.
I know, I know. I almost wish that I was in my hometown of San Francisco. That would have been fun.
Yeah, well, you've been here, you performed here many times and things like that. And I just got to start with this EP, and your voice just kills me. You went to Berklee School of Music and things like that. And tell me about the training and how you discovered your voice because it's just so beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been singing since as far back as I can remember, honestly. Um, my parents taught me I used to like drag a chair out into the middle of the living room and stand on it and line up all my dolls and sing to them. So that's kind of how it got started. But I actually, long before Berklee, I actually joined the San Francisco Girls Chorus, and so I was in a four-part treble girls chorus from age 7 through 16. So I learned music theory, I learned how to sight sing, I learned how to do kind of all those things. And I think that definitely trained my ear more than anything. So by the time I got to Berklee, I had, had ear training kind of under my belt in a certain way. But it definitely was an adjustment. Um, it was definitely an adjustment, right? Because I was singing at home all these Aretha Franklin ballads, age 10, but I was singing in choral music when I went to girls chorus. So it was like it's such a juxtaposition that I was able to then go to Berklee and start to hone the skill of more like pop music, contemporary music, R&B, that kind of thing.
I'm always curious about kids that sing and whether it's for fun or in an organization like a girls' chorus in church or whatever it may be. Your voice is changing, your body's changing. And so, how do you maintain the level of power and control? And I imagine at first it's fun, right? You're just, like you said, emulating some of your icons, the heroes, and people you look up to. But how do you control that? What do they teach you? Because you go through puberty and your little kid froggy voice turns into a woman voice.
Yeah, I definitely had to unlearn some things. When I got to Berklee, I had certain things where I was kind of singing like I was older than I was, if that makes sense. So I had to kind of unlearn some techniques that I learned in the girls' chorus for us to all kind of not only blend together, but for us to kind of sound like a more mature group of women when in reality we were, by the time I was in the touring ensemble, we were like ages 13 through 16, so quite young.
Yeah.
But whole like very, very mature kind of positioning of our larynx and of our technique. So I had to unlearn some of that.
When you were younger, were there any inclinations, any desire to be your own artist and say, hey, I see American Idol, there's an audition down the street, I'm going to give it a try?
Yeah, I definitely was drawn to that at a young age. I think more so because of the like reaction of adults around me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'd sing and they're like, "Oh my God, you're great at singing. You should be a singer." And I always wanted to be a singer, but it actually kind of took me quite a while to find my own voice. And it wasn't until I always wanted to be a singer of this some kind of like arbitrary idea of like what a pop star is when you're 10 years old, right? But it didn't really click until I was about 18 and I was at Berklee and I um, started listening to music that I didn't grow up with. So I grew up with a lot of Motown, like Stevie Wonder has always been my favorite musician of all time. I'm obsessed with Stevie Wonder. Anytime I'm stressed, I'll just put Stevie Wonder on. I have my record player here and I will put on like this little known thing about me. I will put on Secret Life of Plants. Like that's what I'll put on to clean my house, to meditate, to paint. I'm obsessed with Stevie Wonder. But that said, it wasn't until I was around my peers at Berklee who started showing me more kind of contemporary singer-songwriters and artists that were writing their own music. And so it sounded so authentic and so kind of current that I had the revelation of, oh, I'm not just somebody that has a voice, but I should use my voice to sing my own songs and have my own message delivered through the song and have my own kind of experimentation with songwriting and with production, with all these things. It didn't really click for me until 18 because I always was just kind of, I guess I'll just, you know, have David Foster write me some songs and just do a Whitney or something. I didn't really I didn't have an idea. I mean, that would be incredible, but I didn't have a kind of real idea of what I wanted my artistry to be like, if that makes sense, until
Sure.
18.
I see. And when you were 10 years old and you're the kid that's listening to Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin and, you know, really a lot of the throwbacks, what were you like in school amongst your peers? Because I can imagine your friends are listening to current artists that are playing on pop radio and those type of things.
You mean growing up?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was always an outsider my entire life in many different ways, in all different ways. I didn't really my kind of only friends were really like my girls chorus friends. I didn't really relate to my peers on many different levels. So I kind of just listened to my music in my little headphones and I think the first CD is so funny. Like I don't even know. I think it's a testament to just the influence of like my parents' favorite music, but I definitely purchased Off the Wall from Amoeba for like $7 with my own money. And
That was your first CD.
yeah, that I bought
Wow.
with my own money.
Right, right, right.
I think that I had family members buy me Britney Spears. I mean, I was still into Britney Spears, totally into Britney Spears. Who I was really into was Christina Aguilera. I loved her.
That makes
I
sense.
loved the way she sang. I was like, yeah, you know, she had her like thing going on. She had her kind of really empowered like sex appeal, but then she also and like sensuality, but then she also had this like crazy voice. So I loved
Yeah.
that. I actually had this like 3 foot tall Barbie who one day I decided to take a really fat black Sharpie to and just tattoo her entire body. And I also gave her black highlights like Christina Aguilera. And I went, Mom, look at my Barbie. Like, so creative. Thanks for doing that. So sweet. But yeah.
This particular EP you said is about healing. When did you start writing this and what was the catalyst for the theme of healing?
I think that healing is kind of an overarching theme of like why I even take a pen to paper and start making music. I think that that's my own form of self-healing, self-empowerment, self-love, all of these things like really come from the self first. So it is always my intention that if I'm kind of feeling something as I'm writing it, that perhaps if I put it out in the world, someone else has felt that and either will have a place to resonate with or will have a place to heal. That makes sense. So those are the kind of, you know, if I'm writing a song about, okay, this is what I'm specifically going through. Perhaps someone that listens to has also gone through that specific thing, or perhaps they take it and kind of blanket it over whatever they're going through and whatever they need in their life. I started making the EP honestly pre-pandemic, so like a while back. A lot of these songs have been around for a while. The song with Alessia Cara we wrote during the pandemic. So I was in LA, she was in Toronto. We wrote it over FaceTime. We like knocked that song out in like 40 minutes. It was kind of crazy. It just kind of came, it just flowed. Sometimes it happens like that, sometimes a little bit harder. I'm kind of not I'm not really somebody to sit there and like choke the song out, you know, and like, come on, let me write the second verse. Like if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. And I kind of just let it be. But that one really flowed out naturally. Actually, all of these kind of all flowed out really naturally. They didn't come together in a body of work until earlier. No, sorry, until last year. I turned the EP in November of last year.
As you're trickling out these EPs, and again, a lot of people are still learning about you. It's like, oh, 6 songs here, 6 songs there. Where can I get more, right? And when can I see or perform these songs live, and all the
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, I definitely intend on performing live this year. So definitely look out for that. But I just want to get on the road. So I'm anything that will help me get on the road. I'm so down.
At least come up to the Bay.
Yes, of course.
I will come to your house wherever you're going to be. I will be amongst those dolls that are watching you sing.
Perfect.
Well,
I
thanks so
don't
much
need
for doing
a chair anymore. I think I'm good.
it. Well, gosh, you're 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I think I'll just stand. Yeah.
Thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it, and great to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, how perfect the San Francisco connection.